welcome to the Ruby Tuesday. My name's Ruben, and this is my review for Lupin Part 2, I guess, a Netflix original series. Let's get into it. Chat to me down in the comments below. This is non-spoiler. Inspired by the adventures of Assane Lupin, a gentleman thief Assane Diop sets out to avenge his father for an injustice inflicted by a wealthy family. If you enjoyed the first 5 episodes, you're definitely going to enjoy the next 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. You might feel a little bit different when you're watching episode 6. It has a bit of a different tone. The first episode basically sees our main character on the back step. Feels like he's caught unawares. It's all about his son, trying to protect his son, and a kind of assassin that's there in this episode. And so once we get back into episode 7, 8, 9, and 10, it feels very much authentic to the episodes and the character that we've kind of come to know and love. And so give it at least one episode to get back into the tone and the shape of things. It's just setting up the story and the arc for what's going to happen in the rest of the series. I can say that it feels like this story has a complete ending for the most part. There's a big arc that is completed, which is great. So they're not going to keep you hanging on a massive cliffhanger. They're going to complete a story, but it does say at the end that Lupin, there will be a part 3, which is also great because if you like this character, you're going to love what they do with these last few episodes. It really feels like they've really been delving into the puzzle piecing, a Sherlock Holmes esque type of Ocean's 11 mix. But our main character, Assane, is so cool and suave and debonair. Whenever you see him with the mischievous look on his face, you know he's calculating moves ahead. And I think that's what's really fun about this series, is that all the time when you think, they seem to be losing out, or Assane seems to be losing out, these plans not quite working out, the episode will reveal that his plan seems to be much more complicated than we initially thought, which keeps the audience really engaged because you're trying to guess what's happening and how he's planned, or how he's going to get out the thing, or how did he get out that thing. You know, there are so many moves that are only really completed or brought to light at the end. There's certain episodes where they go back and they do that like flashback kind of thing. It's like, this is how it did that, and a lot of series kind of use that mechanic of saying, hey, in case you missed it, let's do a little bit of spoon feeding. But in this series, it's kind of necessary because there are moments you'll be like, but how on earth did he get out of that? They do that bit of explanation dump for about a minute, but it really works. And then we have the bigger main arc come together at the end, where we see how complex the story is. I have to say, I had a lot of fun watching it. If I were to explain the series in a whole, I would say it's escapism. Our characters definitely have plot protection, but it's just so much fun. It's definitely an Ocean's 11 TV series mixed in with Sherlock Holmes, but it's also its own thing because obviously it's based on this Lupin character. And I just thought that the main protagonist has so much on-screen presence, you just can't help but be on his side. No matter what mischievousness he gets up to, you really like him. And part of that is to do with the really in-depth backstory in flashbacks that we get. This is what everybody does. If you want to do backstory for a character, you have to show them rather than tell them, and there isn't a lot of exposition dump in these spaces until they really need it, where a bad guy is bad guy monologuing, because that seems to be a thing that keeps happening. But through the flashbacks, we get a really in-depth look at our characters, and especially our main protagonist and those he's interacting with. Past relationships, stories are revealed, and I think that helps a lot in this. So when you see him doing his debonair white-collar thieving, you're like, is he the good guy though? It does the end justify the means, but when you see what has happened to him and the reason why, that comes back from the first 5 episodes. So when you see the reasoning behind that, the planning behind that, when you see that come together at the end, you are left feeling very satisfied and knowing that you feel like you were rooting for the right guy. Part of what makes the series as good as well is the music. It crescendos at the right time. The last episode is a classic example of this. There's like a chase sequence mixed in with orchestra music, and the way that is edited is so classic, like Ocean's 11. I hate using the Ocean's 11 because it's not like that's the only white collar blue thief. Let's use something else. Leverage, a TV series that I love, like about a band of, I guess, thieves that steal from the rich to give to the poor. That sort of storyline It's very similar in nature. The music here is a character of its own, especially in that last episode. It just works so well in tandem with what's happening. It's smooth, but helps you put in that calculating adventure thief mode that your brain is thinking, well, what's he going to do next? How is he going to do that? And I think that's part of a lot of the fun. Everything is the sum of all the parts in this series. You wouldn't like it as much if they didn't completely or come to fruition at the end with the arc, explaining all those moments or why things were happening the way they are happening. But the fact that they've managed to hold all the parts, imagine putting this together on a storyboard, having all those parts, those moving parts. All it would take is one little thing to go wrong and the story wouldn't have that punch that it has at the end. Really fun. Let me know in the comments below, what was your favorite moment? Which was your favorite episode? I'm going to give this an A. Are you looking forward to the next season? Thanks so much for watching this, but most of all, until next time, remember, live long and Tuesday.